Ironman Muskoka 70.3, here we come.
I have butterflies because this is about to just happen.
Hey everybody, Dave Bazanko here, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is what is an Ironman and what is an Ironman 70.3? So an Ironman is a triathlon. It's a swim, a bike, and a run done in succession. And a full Ironman is a 4K swim followed by a 180K bike ride followed by a 42K run. And you have 17 hours to do that race. And if you can't do it in 17 hours, they pull you off the race course. As a matter of fact, there's a time cutoff for each one of those disciplines. And if you can't make the time cutoff, you don't get to advance to the next part of the discipline. Coming up in this video, you're going to see me registering for Ironman Muskoka for the 5th time.
There I am, racing an Ironman Muskoka.
In a half Ironman or 70.3, that is where you're doing half the distance of a full Ironman. So you're doing a 2K swim, a 90K bike, and a 21K run.
Yeah, hi, can I speak to reservations, please?
Sorry?
Can I speak to your reservations desk?
Yeah, that's a reservation desk.
Okay. Do you have any availability on July 5th and 6th?
So to give you some perspective, if you know your geography in the Ontario marketplace, when I was telling this story when I was coaching high school rowing, my crew, my kids that I was coaching would often bring their friends over to me, other rowers from other schools, to try to find out what this Ironman thing was that Coach Dave was doing. And I would explain to them, because these kids all knew the distance of what 2 kilometers felt like, because when you row an Olympic distance, a rowing course is 2 kilometers. They knew how hard it was to row 2 kilometers down a race course.
Well, that was something to not take lightly. I've been dwelling on this for a while about doing this race, and yeah, it's kind of scary, and but it was a big deal, a big moment, and now I go for a 90-minute run because that's part of my training day.
So when I told people when I was doing a full Ironman, that was like getting in the starting gates, swimming to the finish, swim back to the starting gates, then get out of the water, ride your bike to Toronto, and then ride it back home, and then get on your run shoes and run all the way to Hamilton.
Okay, so I just signed up for Ironman Muskoka. I didn't take that step lightly. It's a hell of a lot of work, but I think it's something you can fit into your weekly schedule. It's something that's definitely doable. I mean, an Ironman's doable, but depending on where you are in your life and what you've got going on, you have to really think these things through.
I'm quite excited to do it and quite excited to bring all of you along on this journey with me. I am technically racing in my 59th year, so that's the age group category that I may be running in or racing in, and I'll be documenting on a weekly basis updates, and just, I think what's more important is sharing all of the things that I'm going through for an age group athlete who's attempting to do either a half Ironman or a full Ironman for the first time, because you're going to have a million questions, and there's a million questions you don't even know you're going to have yet, then maybe I can answer for you. So as you see these videos and you see the tips that I'm giving you, if something doesn't make sense, drop a comment, let me know, and I'll answer it in the comments, or maybe I'll make a full video about it.
Okay, so I just crossed the bridge at Rockaway Falls, which has been my turnaround point now for the last 2 years. That gave me about a 10.5K run every Sunday. So now, I've done this run many times in my training in the past, but now I'm adding 15 more minutes going west, and at 15 minutes I'll do the turnaround. I'm at the top of the escarpment. The rest of my run will be on the escarpment here, and it's a beautiful wine country run. There's going to be more wind. There's going to be more cars driving fast. So I gotta have my wits about me. I'm not gonna be doing a lot of recording out here. All right, so this is the halfway turning point for me. I'm 49 minutes into my run. It's a 90-minute run, but because I had to run up the escarpment, that usually slows me down. I'm usually faster coming back down the other way, so I always sort of add 4 minutes onto my run to incorporate for the quick turnaround on the way back. But this is where, when you're starting to add volume into your runs especially, you feel great. I'm still what I would normally consider to be a normal run for me. But because I'm putting on more distance, I'm not going to feel it in my legs until I get to the bottom of the escarpment, and I've got still another 20 minutes or 4 kilometers to go. That's when I'm going to start to feel the pain of what I'm doing today. So I'll explain all this in more of my training videos, but these are some of the things that I don't see other people talking about on YouTube when they're talking about training for Ironmans. Just the different things you're going to go through. And I know what I'm about to face when I get to the bottom of that hill. My legs are going to get sore. They're not going to be fun. So let's get back to it, and I'll let you know how I make out at the bottom at the end. I just passed the 1 hour mark, and in my run flasks, I've got some Coke and I've got some water. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why the hell has this guy got Coke in his run flask? And I mentioned it earlier, it's part of a nutrition strategy. But I used to, as the lead age group ambassador for Triathlon Ontario, they used to send me to events around the province to talk to other runners and triathletes about becoming a triathlete. And I remember being at one conference up in Huntsville where they hold the Ironman that I'm going to be doing. And I went to one of the breakout sessions, and there was a professional triathlete talking about nutrition. And there were some new triathletes to the world of triathlon in the room who I've been talking to. And I'm just going to say they were a little overweight. And everything that they had heard about triathlon was that it was a promise to weight loss if they stuck with it. But they really hadn't gone down the journey of nutrition yet. So I understand why there's Coke on a race course. I understand the nutritional benefits to an athlete of drinking Coca-Cola every 10 minutes beyond an hour of running, because you've gone through your glycogen stores, and Coca-Cola is a quick source of glycogen and salt, so sugar and salt. It quickly absorbs through your stomach wall and becomes a fuel source. So we'll let this car go by. So when you think about running gels or drinking Coca-Cola, that's all about how do I fuel my body for the next 10-15 minutes of activity. Because if you don't introduce that fuel source that's quickly absorbed into the bloodstream, then what happens is your body attacks your lean muscle mass, not fat, for fuel. It's just about your metabolism and where your body is currently warmed up, and that's a really poor way of trying to explain how metabolism works and how your body consumes either fat or lean muscle mass for fuel. But suffice to say, when we were sitting in that conference room, I asked the question, even though I knew the answer, because I wanted those people, those other athletes, to hear the answer. Not only were they, because I asked the question, I said, hey, why is there Coca-Cola on the run course, and how does that help me as an athlete? And the professional athlete who was giving the talk, she was actually a little bit taken aback that I asked the question. And then I think it dawned on her that the talk that she was giving was so high level, she forgot about the beginners in the room. And the people sitting around me were shocked to hear that Coca-Cola was on the run course, because all they had ever heard was, that's an evil food, that's a fat inducer. Do you know how much sugar's in that? But here's the thing about long course triathlon, Ironmans, is you're doing something different than what most normal people do. I did an interview with Craig Alexander. He's a 3-time Ironman world champion. You can find that on my original YouTube channel. In that interview with Craig, I asked him, what's your approach to Coke? And he said, absolutely, It's his best friend on the race course. It has all the right ingredients. That's why it's there for an athlete to sustain performance at a high level for long periods of time. But is it something that I would have or drink when I'm just sitting around being social with my friends? Absolutely not, because that's when it has the triggering effect of depositing itself as fat in your body. So, you know, one of the biggest challenges you've got to come up with when it comes to triathlon is understanding how to approach food as fuel. So I'll make a video about that, but I just wanted to explain that I wasn't drinking that Coca-Cola at all for the first hour of my run. But when I hit 1 hour, I know that my glycogen stores are depleted in my body. So now I gotta fuel myself for the exercise I'm doing. So every 10 minutes, I'm gonna have a squirt of Coke and a squirt of water to mix it up so that it's easy to digest. And that is why we have Coca-Cola on the run course. And I'm just coming up on the bottom of the escarpment here, and I can already feel my legs are starting to wake up. This is just about 10 minutes beyond what I've run the last 2 years. And having good keen body awareness as a triathlete, they're starting to speak to me. We'll see you at the end. Okay, so 90-minute run today. Actually, it was 95 minutes, hour and 35 minutes, just over 15 kilometers, and felt amazing. My lungs, perfectly fine. Didn't even feel like I had any effort put into them whatsoever. That's because I've carried this level of endurance through my maintenance training for the last 18 years. So my lungs feel absolutely fine. My legs feel a little bit heavy for sure. I'm sure I'll feel a little bit of pain later on tonight, stiffness. My hip held up really well today, which is really great. So I'm going to do a light stretch cool down and call it a day, and have a rest day tomorrow, and start working on some videos to kind of bring everybody up to speed with where we're at. And if you enjoyed this video, remember, like, subscribe, leave a comment. You know, if you want to cheer me on and see me go through this journey, and maybe get inspired yourself to try something outside of your comfort zone, you know, type in Ironman in the comments and let me know you're with me, okay? Thanks everybody, we'll see you in the next video.